Hi folks, hope you're all well. Today I just wanted to do a quick video on different types of pedals and cycling shoes that you potentially could encounter when looking to buy a bike. It might seem a simple thing, but actually it's something that I really struggled with a little bit when I was buying my bike. I mean, first and foremost, I bought my bike online, and I mean, this is how naive I was. I didn't realise that they don't tend to come with pedals attached. So when it arrived, imagine my disappointment that I couldn't just go out and ride it because there were no pedals. And basically the reason for that is that it's a very individual thing, pedals and shoes. Basically there are three main types of pedals. The pedals that you will remember growing up as a child on your childhood bike would be what are called the platform pedals. You just put your foot on and just push, basically. There's nothing to it, you're not attached to the bike. Particularly if you're looking to get into road cycling, and probably a lot of the other disciplines as well, although I don't know anything about those, you can start to get into what we call being clipped into the bike, or confusingly what they actually call clipless pedals. It's one and the same thing. Being clipped in, you're using clipless pedals, and I'm sure someone out there can probably tell me why they're called clipless. But basically clipped in, clipless, clipped in or clipless means that you're physically attached to the bike. Now it took me probably about 6 to 9 months, I think, of having my bike with the platform pedals. They were the ones I went for first and foremost, because I wasn't really very confident on a road bike. It was the first road bike I'd ever had. So I got platform pedals on mine, and after about 6 to 9 months I finally bit the bullet and got myself some clipless pedals so that I could actually be clipped into the bike. And it's a really weird sensation being attached to your bike, but it's something that you do quickly get used to, and you suddenly realise actually you can get a lot more power through the bike, because you're not only pushing down but you're pulling up because your foot is attached to the pedal. And it's actually really good when you're going up hills, particularly when you're stood up and you can actually pull as well as push. So I'd certainly recommend it. You know, work your way up to it certainly, but I'd certainly recommend doing that. Now, I think probably my disclaimer is to sort of go out and visit bike shops, do some reading online about the different types of pedals that are available. I'm certainly no expert, and I'm certainly figuring it all this out still for myself. But as I understand it, there's two main groups of pedals that you can get for your bikes, and the type of pedal that you have determines the type of shoe, or specifically the type of cleat that you have on your shoe. So let me just give you a quick sort of idiot's guide, really. Obviously the pedal on your bike is what it is. Everyone knows what a pedal is. This is my shoe, very dirty, keeping it real on this channel, and I'll go into the sort of shoe and cleat this is in a moment. But basically when I say cleat, I mean this little thing in here, and you have to buy this certain type of shoe to match the certain type of cleat as well. So the shoe, the cleat and the pedal all have to complement one another. So yeah, this is where it can get quite confusing, but as I say, I'll hopefully give you a bit of an idiot's guide as to the main types. So the first type of shoe that I want to show you is probably what most road cyclists would tend to use, and they are known as the spd-sls, or 3-bolt system. Now, just by pure coincidence, myself and my other half use each type of pedal and cleat system, so I can show you what they actually look like. So this is my other half's shoes. Yeah, these are Shimano's, and these are your typical road shoes. So these are the cleats on here. As you can see, there's three bolts in there, so that's what's known as the 3-bolt system. And as you might see from the camera, the cleats actually sit outside of the shoe, so there's no recessed sole or anything to speak of. Generally you have a bit of a heel to sort of make up for the fact that your cleat is sticking out as well, particularly for when you're walking, because basically when you're wearing these on the bike it makes no odds, but when you're off the bike and you've got to stand or walk, your foot is kind of pointing up, your heel is lower than the rest of your foot, so you're actually kind of, your foot is angled up very slightly. My shoe is a different system. It's known as the SPDs. It's the 2-bolt system, so as you can see, that's the difference. The big difference with these on the shoes particularly is that, as you can probably see there, the cleat is recessed into the sole. These are your typical mountain bike type setup. I guess probably because you're more likely to be actually physically off the bike for parts of your mountain bike route, and so it makes it a bit more comfortable to walk in. So your cleat is recessed into the sole, and you have quite a good sole on there as well, quite grippy. The reason I picked these actually is because I had back surgery 6 years ago now, and I still get problems with my back, and I frankly just felt it would be a lot more comfortable walking around in these shoes, because your foot isn't angled up, it's flat on the ground, as it were, as it would be in a normal shoe. So I find these a lot more comfortable to stand and walk in, so that's why I went for these. So yeah, the difference between the pedals as well, which I'll show you, the big difference is that with the typical road shoe and the spd-sl pedals that go with the spd-sl cleats, is that they're only one-sided. You can only clip into them from one side. Now the pedals are weighted in a certain way, so that there is a knack to clipping in the right way. Obviously once you've clipped in, you then need to be able to release your foot. On most of these types of pedals you just swing your heel outwards. Everyone I ride with who have road shoes, more often than not struggle for a brief moment getting clipped in. With my SPDs, the pedals that go with these SPD cleats, they're 2-sided. You can get one-sided ones where you've got the platform pedal one side, the SPD pedals on the other side, to give you a bit of a flexibility and a bit of option. And I was going to go for that, but a colleague explained to me that you've still got that same issue of that 50-50 chance of getting the right side of the pedal when you want to clip in. So that's why I went for the 2-sided really, and I never have any problems clipping in. More often than not, when we're pulling away from a junction or some lights or something, I'm halfway up the road before whoever is this with me in road shoes is caught up, because they've had a few moments of trying to clip in. And that is the main differences. So that's your 3-bolt SPD-sls, your typical road shoe setup. This is your 2-bolt SPD, typical mountain bike setup. I do apparently the different types of shoe, one is more rigid than the other, so potentially you could put more power through one than the other. I think the road shoes tend to be that a little bit more stiff, but I'm an amateur cyclist. I'm not, you know, I'm not worried about those marginal gains. And certainly, if you're looking into getting a road bike yourself, especially if you've got back problems, then I would certainly suggest that you have a think about looking at the SPD mountain bike setup, really. So yeah, that's probably about it for me. Hope that helps some people out there. I know some of my followers are avid cyclists anyway, so this will all be old hat to you. But you know, if there's anyone out there who is thinking of getting into road cycling and you know have suddenly found yourself in this minefield of different types of shoes and pedals and cleats and what all of this means, then I really hope that this video has been a little bit of help to you. Yeah, if you've got any comments or questions, please do leave them below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.